What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a unboxing, a full build, and then review of this GMT watch from DIY Watch Club. Let's get into it. Start with the unboxing. The box was cool. The box is immaculate for 60 bucks. I think that's what it cost. Hand pump, good tool to have. That's like a cushion. You can set the movement and the dial and the case and everything on when you're working on it. There's a loop, always good to have a loop. Those come in handy. There's the movement, it's a Seiko GMT movement. We'll get into the specifics of that in the description. Case back opening tool, really cool thing to have, especially for automatic watches. This has like finger cots, that's kind of like sticky tack. That came in handy when I was putting on the second hand, believe it or not. And then that piece of plastic is crucial for when you're putting on the hands. It's good to protect the dial when you're taking off or adding hands. In this little box, had the dials and all the different hands. There's the case. It's the Coca-Cola GMT bezel. See-through case back so you can see the movement. Really nice, really good quality too. 22 millimeter rubber strap, also pretty good quality. That clear tool you see there was used for adding, I think, the GMT hand, and then the rest of these are some type of screwdrivers, and then there's a couple more tools used to press down and apply the perfect amount of pressure to the rest of the hands. Link removal tool, don't need that for this. These are some extra things that didn't really need. Spring bars. This, couldn't tell you what that is. Won't even pretend. Don't even know what it is. So first you remove the crown. So you can get working on it. Use that case back tool to open up the case. Put the finger cots on after you've already started because that's the way Luke does it. If I do this again, I will put finger cots on both hands. I think that's another pro tip. So after this, you take out, there's like the movement holder, some metal gasket, rubber gasket. Set everything face down, or the opposite, I should say. Don't want to get dust in there. Removing that temporary crown was a little bit of a pain, but once I figured it out, wasn't too bad. Put in the new crown, then you can get started putting on the dial itself. So then you can begin working on adding the hands, which is the most difficult part by far. This has a really nice like matte finish black dial, lume, even on the hour marker it's got lume. At the 12 o'clock I should say. Really, really nice, honestly, it's really cool. I'm very impressed with this, very impressed with it. I did see something online that the quality wasn't great. I totally disagree. And I've actually worn this a few times for the entire day since making this, and it's been great. Putting on the GMT hand's pretty easy. Use a different tool for each hand when it comes pushing down on that pin in the middle. There's the hour hand. I'm going to skip ahead here too, and you'll see I've got the minute and the second hand on because this would be a 4-hour video. So throughout the process, I use that hand pump just to continue to keep dust out of there. Put the case back on, make sure everything's flush. One little hiccup I ran into was when I put the case back on there, the tighter I put it down, I could see the movement, that kind of pendulum was not moving. So I realized, I took the case back off, realized that I actually didn't have it on there flush like I needed it to be. That movement holder needed to be pushed down farther, so that was something I needed to revisit. Aside from that, in the second hand, pretty smooth building my own watch for the first time. Overall, I'm pleasantly surprised with this, to be honest with you. I think I've seen a YouTube video or something along the lines saying that the quality's not very good. I think the quality's great. I mean, it's nice and heavy. The tools they provide, of course, the tool like this one here to actually close the case back. I mean, you can make sure that the case back is nice and snug. Aside from putting the minute hand, or the second hand on, I should say, like that was the only thing at any point in time that gave me any trouble. I think if I were to do this again, especially putting on each one of the hands, whether it's hour hand, the minute hand, second hand, even the GMT hand, I think there's the possibility of damaging the dial. So I would probably use either the piece of kind of like thin film plastic they provide and kind of keep that on there at all times. I know like in the video tutorials of when they're teaching you how to put the hands on, those are basically used, you slide them under the kind of main pin there, and then that's when you can pry up the hands. I would suggest keeping that on there the whole time, honestly. At least after you get like the hour hand on, whatever hand it is that you put on first, which in this case is actually the GMT hand. But once you get that on, I would leave that on there because you're kind of like repeatedly going at this, especially with that second hand. So like the more and more you're doing that, you're kind of getting like a little almost lazy. So it kind of leaves room to maybe scratch or ruin this dial a little bit, which as I was doing it, I felt like I was kind of maybe making some marks on there, but now that this is on and, you know, when you look at it, it looks completely fine and perfectly clean, which is good. That's the only main concern I have. It's not really a downfall of this. I mean, that's watchmaking. I mean, that's the hardest part of this particular kit. You don't have to do anything with the movement, which I'm sure is probably a really good thing. But the most difficult part was putting that second hand on. So that's my tip. Just keep something under there. So as you're doing that, you don't damage the dial. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you DIY Watch Club for sending this incredible kit and this beautiful watch to me. This was a ton of fun to do. I highly, highly recommend it. I will put all their information below. I know they're doing a sale right now, a pretty good sale from what I believe. I believe this box, like this kind of upper scale box, is like a upgrade. I think there's 2 or 3 different options they have. All that, like I said, I'll put in the link. But I highly recommend it, especially if you're really into watches. I mean, it was a lot of fun doing this. It would have taken me way less time if it wasn't for that second hand. But what can you do? Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.